Cheers.
Cheers.
Welcome to Screaming Divas Shenanigans.
Thank you all for doing this, and you know you will be number 3 in the series now. We're doing all the big young artist programs in North America because we really wanted to reach out to all of you and see how you're doing. I mean, it's pretty crazy times, right? So we're just going to go around and ask all of you where you are, how you're doing, and if you're completely sane or not. So anyway, let's start. Anthony, where are you? How you doing? What you been doing?
I'm up in Ravenswood in Chicago, so doing well. We're going into the opera about once a week, and I bike there, which is about 8 miles one way and then 8 miles back. So I've been staying fit, just getting to the opera, which is, it always feels good to get outside and on my bike and everything. So hanging in there.
Cool.
I like to hear that. I really like to hear that. And Chris, where are you? How you doing? What's going on?
I'm good. I am in downtown Chicago.
I can see
sort of see the reflection in this mirror. I have to go in more because I'm the pianist, so I, go in to play for everyone. But it's nice because it's only a 20-minute walk for me, so I get a nice journey through downtown. I'm mostly sane, though. I've just been doing a lot of puzzles and watching a lot of movies and haven't had any mental breakdowns in the last month and a half.
That implied that you had one before.
Wanting to move in the middle. I mean, a lot of us had to move in the middle of all of this, so that was a relatively stressful undertaking.
Yeah, for sure. Oh my gosh.
And Leroy, how you doing? Where are you?
I'm in Edgewater, Chicago. I'm okay. I read the news a lot, and I feel like every time I read it, I go more and more insane because I'm always thinking, is this real life? Is this really happening?
Yeah. Stop.
My sanity is sort of being maintained by being able to go into the theater and rehearse and practice, and hopefully it'll stay that way.
I know.
I hope so too.
Catherine, how are you? Where are you? How you doing?
Hi, I'm good. I'm in Andersonville, Chicago, and I've been doing good too. I've got my cat here with me, so it's nice to have a quarantine kind of buddy.
Nice.
And going into the opera has been like fantastic, and that's really been kind of like my lifeline, being able to perform live music again. So it's been wonderful.
Cool.
Thank God. Hi, Kathleen. How you doing? Where are you?
Hello, it's good to see you.
You too.
I'm doing okay. All things considered, I'm in Ukrainian Village, Chicago. For the moment, I'm kind of in the process of moving myself, changing my life around just a little bit so that I have maybe interaction with another person more frequently, which is great. So I've got a roommate now. That's a bit of a change. So as far as sanity, I mean, I don't even know where that sliding scale falls anymore. So I think Chris has me beat on number of days or weeks since my last breakdown, but we're doing okay.
Me too.
It's a daily battle, I feel. If it's,
my God.
thing, and like what Leroy was saying, reading the news, it's kind of like sometimes that affects the whole day after what I've woken up and just read. So
Absolutely.
Oh. Now, are you Martin Luther or just Martin?
I am Martin Luther.
Right. How are you? Where are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm in Lakeview East, Chicago. Been feeling pretty good up until like maybe 2 or 3 days ago. Just things started to feel very, I guess, unbalanced. And then I hear about the news and check Facebook, and I'm like, oh, no wonder the energy is all whack. Yeah, so yesterday I went out for a walk by the lakefront, which is gorgeous and very refreshing. Came back in my apartment, looked around, and I said, we got to rearrange everything. Just got to change the flow of energy. So I did, and I'm very happy.
Good. Okay, so the interior decorator is coming out in you.
I guess so. I guess COVID is bringing that skill out. We'll see how that flourishes.
All right.
please come to my house. I would enjoy that.
Carrie's going to be moving soon. So Carrie's in Nashville. And she's going to be moving soon from a 750-foot apartment to a house.
Hallelujah.
In the
Hallelujah. Yeah.
sticks. Kind of like me.
Yeah, in the sticks, a little frightening. I hyperventilate every time I drive out there. I'm like, what's happening to my life? What's happening, everybody? I don't understand. Okay.
David, hi, how are you? Good to see you.
I'm good. Good to see you too. We didn't move, but we've had our own kind of insanity. We had a baby, my wife and I, 6 weeks ago.
Congratulations.
Thank you. A little girl named Lucy, and she's doing really well. So we're, dealing with not having a whole lot of sleep. My wife, unfortunately, more than I, because we are sticking to pretty much exclusive breastfeeding. So my wife is very tired, and therefore I'm very tired as well. But we also have a 6-year-old and 2 dogs and a cat. So we've been really busy. So I haven't gone into the opera house. I'm looking forward to that. I think go in tomorrow for the first time. But yeah, I've been trying to figure out how to best do everything at home. Obviously that took kind of a hiatus for a while. Our bosses were gracious enough to give me a pretty decent paternity leave so I could help out around here. But we're focusing on homeschooling and figuring out that's going to continue because Chicago announced today they're going completely virtual. I'm in Lincoln Park, by the way.
Okay. Yeah. I did know that.
And so we're figuring out. But our living room is where we play with our son, where we have our piano, where we practice. It's where we exercise. It's where our dog is. It's where our TV is. So we're trying to figure out how to do that multi-purpose room.
Right.
Okay. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
And Ricardo, how are you? Good to see you.
Good to see you too. It's been a while since the concert of Three Queens.
Yeah.
I'm doing good. I'm in Oak Park, the village of Oak Park. It's like to the west. And my wife and I and our cat, we're doing fine. If you can call it fine, just being stuck in the house since March. But within the boundaries of that, we're doing okay. We're scared we're gonna get a letter from our neighbors saying that we're screaming too much every day because we just spend most of our time just like listening to opera full blast on the speakers and practicing as much as we can.
Whatever you do to stay sane, right?
Indeed.
Great. Well, good to see you. Really good to see you.
Thank
and
you.
Maria Novella, now where are you coming from and how are you? Or is it just Maria?
Hi. Nice to meet you. Really nice to meet you. I'm calling from Italy, from Lucca.
Lucca! Wow.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Wow. Where I am now, right now. So it's I'm just waiting to be in Chicago. Every day I'm waiting the email that I can go there. And yeah, it's going very well. I read a lot of books, studied a lot of music, and waiting.
Nice.
And were you and your family okay in Italy, in Lucca?
Yeah. It's for my family, everything is fine. We are together finally. We enjoy it, stay together. It was a little bit difficult, as is also in America, but it's fine.
Good. Thank God. Hi, Katie. How are you? How you doing? How's everything? Where are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having us on.
Of course.
Yeah. I'm tuning in from my husband and I just moved into our apartment in Edgewater in Chicago over the weekend.
Oh, wow.
We're doing well. We had been subletting in Hyde Park for a while, and we just kind of were bouncing around during this quarantine because we had to move out of, we came from Phoenix. We moved from Phoenix.
Okay.
And so we moved out of our place in Phoenix, subletted for a while, like had a couple temporary stays in between, and now we're so thrilled to be in our own space that we can decorate and unpack, and therefore I'm a little scattered because my belongings are scattered, but it's a happy scattered for now.
Cool. Understand that.
Yeah. Exactly. And last but not least, Matilda. Hi, how are you? Where are you coming from?
Hello, I'm in Rogers Park in Chicago, so almost up to Evanston. My husband and I moved here in May from Lincoln Park. We wanted to get a little further north in the city. So we also moved in the middle of the pandemic, which was interesting. But we made it work. And things are pretty good here. It's day by day for sure, sometimes hour by hour. I am currently pregnant, so that has added a level of
Congratulations.
chaos.
Oh,
Thank you. So yeah, I'm pretty much homebound, and that
Beautiful.
itself has been a challenge just because pregnant women are in the high risk category. So
Right.
some of it's been a little isolating. My family's from Central Illinois, and we can't visit them right now either, just because of all of the pandemic stuff and the risks involved with that. So
Sure.
that part is a challenge, but thankful to still be employed and still be able to make music every day, even though it's little every once in a while. But just thankful for what we do have currently.
So you all are saying, and I want to touch on this. You all are saying that you're going into the opera house and rehearsing. Talk to us a little bit about that. What's going on? Because this is new. This is exciting. We're happy to hear this. Yeah.
How's it happening? Everything.
What's going on? Anybody?
Well, I can say, I can describe the setup,
Okay.
the layout of these rooms. So I know, at least for me, and my room is now one of like the big staging rooms, because they really want to give us, as much room as possible so we can socially distance within the rehearsal room. I think there's a limit of 2 people per room.
Okay.
Or at least I've never been in a room with more than 2 people. And I'm at the piano, and then there's a big plexiglass wall on my right. And then down the room, there is a whole setup with like a microphone and Zoom camera. So if the singer is singing for Julia Faulkner, the voice faculty,
right,
the singer will be singing into the Zoom camera and I'm playing, or if it's a coaching with just myself and the singer's facing me and is standing a little bit farther away to compensate for the distance of, aerosol spraying that is singing. And there's all these complicated tape lines on the floor that I think delineate where someone has to stand, and everyone has their own stand and chair. And rehearsals are limited to 30 minutes at a time, and then an hour in between to clear out the air. Okay. And we all have our own either dressing rooms, or I have my own room with a piano to go to in between to practice or warm up outside of the shared spaces. It's also that I think it's as safe as possible. And every time we walk in the building, we have to do a health check where they take our temperature. We have to answer questions about, if we've left the city or the country or come into contact with anyone.
With a mask, Chris? With a mask?
Yes. I think the plexiglass does a lot to sort of shield the environment. And we're very far apart. It's taken, I think, a long time for some of us, really myself included, to get used to making music from that much of a distance.
Yeah.
Especially when, for the last recital we did, there was all this song where you're so used to hearing these nuances of ensemble that you are so used to from a few feet apart, but then you have to kind of readjust all of your hearing to a 30 feet distance. So it's been a process, but I think we're all getting pretty good at it.
Are they asking you, in your personal lives, to stay in a quarantine state, to stay, with limited being around people, just doing grocery store things and stuff like that, or no? Or are you allowed to do whatever you need to do outside of or whatever you want to do, I guess, outside of the opera house?
Well, I got a release to go visit my family this weekend, and so in order to make that work, I have to get a rapid COVID test as soon as I get back. I think it's either the rapid COVID test or 2 weeks of quarantine, and we have some recordings that we have to do. So I think, they want us to be as safe as possible, but I was also I'm looking forward after I get back. My sister's pregnant, so I've been very careful about who I've been seeing before visiting them.
Sure.
But I'm excited to hopefully like sit out in the parks with some of the new people I haven't met fully yet. So hopefully we can arrange some stuff and create like a little opera bubble.
Yeah,
That's a great idea.
that's great. Wow.
They sent us an email beforehand that basically said, like, now that we're going in to work in person, you're entering into a social contract with everyone, because how you behave outside of work not only affects you, but could put other people's lives and health at risk. So it's just basically saying, like, they're not monitoring us every second of our lives, but just to be good people and not do anything stupid. And if you do leave the city or something, to either do the quarantine or take the rapid test.
Kathleen, you were going to say something?
Yeah, I was just going to say, a lot of us haven't met in person yet. So even though we've been working together for 3 months already, we only see each other on Zoom. A couple of us may have run into each other once or twice at the Opera House or in our neighborhoods, but I mean, we're kind of all over the city. We haven't actually met yet.
Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really weird.
Oh my gosh. And are you all okay with this? Are you all comfortable going into the Opera House now?
I would say the biggest challenge is the transportation to get to the Opera House, because I think all the measures that have been taken at the Opera House feel very, very safe. But unfortunately for many of us, we are reliant upon public transit. And, Anthony has been able to ride his bike 16 miles a day to get to the opera. I can't speak to my own resilience in that area of my life.
Yeah, just wait till it starts snowing, right?
I know. Exactly. Oh my gosh.
Exactly.
Like, it's also like you take your life in your own hands if you're on public transit because of germs and stuff, but people open car doors into the bike lane, or people will pull out in front of you. So,
Yeah.
All right. But the rest of you are all comfortable with this? Except for dear Maria Novella, who is in Italy, and Matilda, who I get that. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm pretty much stuck at home, but I'm thankful that they're letting me work from home for everything, even the recordings and things like that has all happened at home thus far. So
they're very flexible with that. They're allowing us to be able to come in at our own comfort. I know I've been very cautious to come in, obviously, because my wife was pregnant and then we just had a baby, and our girl she has some heart issues, so I'm being very cautious of that. She's doing really well, I should say. She's actually exceeded all expectations, but I'm kind of using tomorrow as a test run. When I spoke with Emma about it, it all sounds very cautious. The distancing, the requirement of masks, except for when the singer is singing, all those sorts of things. I mean, it makes it sound like it's very possible. So I'm gonna kind of judge that, but they've always given us the option of declining coming in and continuing to do things virtually. So that's always a good option.
Wow.
Cool.
Well, what do we want to talk about? How are you guys all zoomed out? How has voice lessons been on Zoom? Do we like it? Do we not like it? What difference do you see with Zoom lessons?
I feel like they've worked surprisingly well. Well, I mean, I'm sure in my opinion, for the most part, it's definitely something you have to get used to. And I will say the strangest thing for me at first was to meet people on Zoom for the first time, like not so much in the group meetings, but to have like a sudden one-on-one coaching with a conductor via Zoom, someone you've never met. I mean, that is really fascinating and something that I don't think many of us would have anticipated ever like working on as a skill in this profession. So it's fascinating. And I would say like, Julia in particular, but truly like most of the staff at the ROC, they've been really good about helping us figure out audio equipment.
Okay.
So I think by this time, all of us have some sort of fancy mic that picks up, great detail in our lessons and coachings. And Julia is also very, like, she's like become the wizard of helping us adjust our audio settings.
Oh, cool.
So that she can hear very well. And I would also speak to the skill of the coaches. And I remember Anthony talking about this weeks ago, of being able to almost play with us via Zoom.
Okay.
You know, I think speaking at least for myself, I've been like very, very diligent with myself, like more than ever on rhythm when learning something new. And sometimes maybe the coach will even be checking your, like, not playing and just hearing you like beat your own rhythm, something like that.
Yeah.
But it's really fascinating the way that both singers, pianists, coaches, every one of us has adjusted to kind of it being a new normal.
Yeah.
Have you found yourselves working more on your own now, or the opposite, depending upon coaches more to help you through everything?
I've definitely found myself working on my own more, especially learning Stravinsky, Tom Rickwell. So it's challenging my musicianship skills, which I'm like, this is great, but at the same time, I'm like, this is very difficult.
Can I give you a little piece of advice?
Oh, please.
Just like as an aside, I used to study with Marcel Sanger, who was good friends with Stravinsky. And Stravinsky listened to Mozart when he wrote that opera.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to give you that as a clue about how he thought about the long lines.
Definitely. I actually have a little book about Rates of Progress I've been reading, and it mentioned that how there are a lot of Mozartian influences in it, and I can definitely feel them while singing.
But I think it's kind of Mozart on steroids. It's like,
I would agree to that. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, what are you?
Can you guys all tell us what that microphone is, in case there are other singers out there, and even myself, because I've looked at 100 different mics, and it's that one.
What's it called, Matilda?
It's the Blue Yeti.
The Blue Yeti. Okay.
Great. Anybody else have other ones that they prefer, or no?
Yeah, I have the Audio Technica, and it works really well for me.
Which one, Martin Luther? You have?
Oh, the Audio Technica.
Okay.
I don't know the numbers that come after it, but it works well.
And Anthony, you have a different one?
I have this, it's called a Baby Bottle. It's also by Blue, who does the Yeti.
Yeah, okay.
It's a little bit more stationary, though, than just a normal USB mic. I have, like, it routed through a box.
And are those the mics that you use when you're doing the recordings for whatever they need you to do to sing in and stuff like that? You're using that and your iPhones, or you're using cameras, or your computer cameras?
We've been recommended to use the computers because of the extra audio settings that they include.
Okay.
The iPhones and the iPads, you can still plug the mics if you have a special adapter, but they don't have the extra audio options that make the sound quality better through the mic.
Great.
I've
been
actually
using the Shure MV88, I think is the full name, which plugs directly into your iPhone. You don't need any adapter, which for me has been great because I only have like an iPad and I have an iPhone, so I don't have even a USB adapter. And because so much of what I have to do is record piano tracks for people, it's just nice to plug it into my phone, set it down, record, and it's a better quality than it would be just on my phone.
So do we have everyone? Should we introduce the two newcomers that have just arrived? Hi, I'm Carrie.
I'm Sandra. Hi. So are you Dennis or you are Andrea?
Hi, I'm Denise Andrea.
Nice to meet you. Where are you coming from? How are you doing?
Nice to meet you. I'm from Mexico.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm a little afraid because I don't speak very well English. I get many things, but sometimes I have a little nervous to speak.
No worries.
Not with us.
Not with us.
Not with us.
We'll
Thank
figure it out.
And Lunga, how are you? Where are you coming from?
I'm coming from South Africa, Cape Town.
Thank you. Wow.
Yeah.
How's it going down there?
Well, when I left, things were a bit hectic. I don't know now. Maybe they're better. But I think it was the issue of the government opening the liquor department, and then people started acting rebellious. But a few weeks back, they closed everything. So I guess things have changed a bit.
Yes, I was reading about the schools opening back up, and then they've had to shut them back down again. And so, yeah, there's been, just like in the United States, it's been up and down with the numbers. So I'm sorry you guys are dealing with all that.
All right.
Are you trying to get here to Chicago? Oh, sorry, Sandra. Are you trying to get here to Chicago, or are you going to be there?
No, I'm here in Chicago already.
Oh, you are? Okay.
Yes.
And Denise, are you in Chicago too now?
Yeah, me too. I'm here in Chicago 3 weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
So only
Yeah.
one of you. Oh.
So we've got two, one in Italy and one in South Africa, trying to get into Chicago.
Oh.
Okay.
So how are we doing with our vocal health, all of you? Have you been singing a lot during the pandemic? Did you have a period kind of like Carrie and I where we just felt really...
We were like, peace out. Nope, not doing it.
Vocal cords on a shelf. Yeah.
I had about a week where I couldn't phonate. I just had to kind of bury my head in the sand. But I was still at Curtis at the time, finishing my master's, and they worked out where we could still have lessons. So I was working with Julia Faulkner, and she was absolutely amazing. She actually brought the motivation back and the peace as well, because I had to move in back with my parents for 2 months, and it was challenging. Yeah, that was my expression. That was my expression. I mean, I have two loving parents, but after, living by myself for almost 3 years,
right?
And then having to just all of a sudden go back to mom and dad is like, wow.
Whoa.
But, yeah, it was a time.
How about the rest of you?
Yeah, so I actually ended up for 2 months up with my parents as well, but it was kind of completely by accident. I came up the weekend of my birthday in March. I was living in Detroit at the time, working as a studio artist in Michigan Opera Theater.
Mm-hmm.
And I went north and luckily brought the cat and I kind of was worried. I was like, I might get stuck for a little bit maybe. And that was the weekend kind of everything kind of came to a head as far as, the stay in place orders and everything like that. And so I ended up at my parents' house for 2 months with my sister, who was doing college via online, and my parents were both working via online. So I'm like in the basement singing, and my mom's on a Zoom call with other people being like, I'm so sorry, my daughter is singing in the basement. And I was trying to like sequester myself to different places. And trying to organize when I could sing, just because, everyone in the household was on Zoom, and my sister's doing class and taking tests, and she's studying to be a nurse and had to do all of her clinicals online, or part of her clinicals online, and like kind of like this module. And it was definitely an adventure. And, I learned I had to be really, 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 really mindful of the time I had, and just be really, really efficient in the time I could use for those 2 months.
Good for you. Good for you.
Anybody? Yeah. Anybody else like face planting a cake like I did, or a vodka bottle for 2 months? They're like, nobody's like, they're like, we're young artists. We can't admit that.
It's been like, for me, a little bit of a roller coaster of productivity. Like, I'll have a week where I am really productive, and then a week where I just like need to sleep. But I've leveled out a little bit, but it's been nice to work in doses. I think when you have like an hour coaching and a half hour off, and then another hour coaching or whatever, you don't necessarily get the time that you need to like for example, if I'm stretching my passaggio a little bit, I can just stop and come back to it in 15 minutes, and there's nobody that's expecting me to like push through it. And so I've been able to build stamina in I think a healthy way that's not necessarily what would happen if I had to just like go and do it every day on a set schedule.
Right.
Yeah.
I think for me, when the ring cycle was canceled, that Friday, the 13th of March, or whatever specific day it was, I think that was the day.
It is Friday the 13th.
Yeah, right? I know. That day, I mean, from that point, I think it was probably like 2 full months before. I mean, I was singing here and there, and we were trying to all kind of like keep up with voice lessons and stuff, but it was just like, I just can't open my mouth without just feeling this enormous wave of grief.
Yeah.
And,
You know, high five, girl.
Yeah.
Like, that was me.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would just cry.
Yeah.
I know. Me too. Me too. And honestly, just like taking that time, and I just thought, you know, for me, the voice and the emotional body are so connected that if I push through that like strong emotion, that's going to be tension. That's going to be tension, you know, just all over my body. And so it was like, how can I like breathe deeply, make space for this emotion, and then open my mouth and sing? And it took a few months to get to a point where that felt like in any way authentic.
Good for you, though. You realized that you were going to do more harm than good. And you know what? That's another thing to tell people out there, that the emotions are just so raw right now, and it's so related to our voice and our body. And a lot of young singers out there, that's what we're hearing, is that, you know, they're still having difficulty getting back into it because they can't wrap their head around it, the emotions, and attach that to physically singing. You know?
I think that's everybody across the board, honestly, you know, not just young singers, but I mean, people that I'm in the boat with, when you know, I've been doing this for a long time, and there are a lot of my friends that are like, what in the world? You know, like, what are we going to do now? And when are we going to be back in the theater? And you all are really fortunate right now that you have those jobs, and you have the opportunity to be in the theater and working with these people, even though I know it's probably not the way you wanted it or the way you envisioned it, but that's really exciting to me to hear that's actually going on. So yeah.
What about your mental health? What have you guys been doing to keep sane? Anything, or just eating lots of chocolate cake?
Well, I've ordered, I think, one Luminari's deep dish pizza like twice a month.
Oh, yes.
So I think that's the way I've been coping mentally with this situation.
That's very good. They have that keto-friendly one, by the way, right? With the bacon crust. Not that I would know that.
Yeah, that's the one my wife orders. I ordered the
keto,
traditional
right?
one. Yeah.
I want the traditional one. Bring on the carbs.
No, the keto one's good.
Speaking of like the emotional body and like all the emotion with like mental health and all this stuff, like at the best of times in this art form is a challenge, because like in order for us to pour our hearts out on stage, we have to be able to put a lid on whatever it is that we're experiencing. Like we have to go there emotionally, but we also have to know where the like tipping point is. And okay, I can give emotion up to this point before the whole mechanism falls apart, you know, and I'm just sobbing on stage. Like that's not where we go. And so I think like so much of that is either finding like some sort of meaning in what's happened, or, you know, finding some resolution or something like that. In the midst of such chaos, we can't really make sense of all of this right now. And so like finding how to put a lid on it is like, it's more about just finding a way to float with it and just flow with it, because there's no way to stop and like make sense of it right now, you know? And so I think like that's been challenging mental health wise, as well as trying to be artists.
Well said, Kathleen, really. Yeah. Leroy, you're being quiet. What about you? What are you doing?
I started running again. So I was quarantined at work for 2 months, which was like New York City, which was completely nuts. And so after a while, I've ended up in Indiana, and it was just like nice to not hear sirens every 10 seconds.
I know.
And so that was refreshing, so I could like sort of take off that coat. But sort of socially distanced running, yoga.
Good.
I think not singing for 2 months. Chris and I were working at Lincoln Center Theater when everything shut down, and I did not open my mouth to sing word until I think the first day that ROC started.
Wow.
So
yeah.
I think that was helpful.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Do you all feel like you're fighting to keep a presence in the artistic world? that you want to stay present and relevant? Do you find that social media helps you with that, or no? Or do you feel like you're going to be forgotten about if you don't stay out there in the public eye?
I'm a little less worried about keeping myself relevant because I know that the whole industry is just like kind of stopped right now. So I don't think there's anybody that's like beating anybody out right now for the attention. And I'm in a very good place, being taken care of really well. I'm just worried about what happens when it's all over and everybody like comes out of the gate running. Because these careers, we build them slowly and strategically, and now everybody's going to be, you know, on the same day doing everything.
Yeah. That's very, you know what, that's very raw and honest. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I was just gonna add to that as well, that kind of tying in the relevance factor with mental health is that, and as we've said, you know, all of us have probably at one point struggled with like trying to sing during the pandemic at home, or sometimes, you know, even a virtual coaching sometimes can be tough. You know, the world is heavy right now and that weighs on you. And yet in terms of relevance, it's so fascinating, and I feel really lucky that I have a husband who like is very forward thinking, and I'm not. I'm very in the moment. And he's reminded me a few times that this is not going to be our reality forever.
Yeah.
Which is something that like just doesn't get said very often because everyone's pretty woke about the situation, right? You know, everybody's tuned in to the news every day and interested in seeing how it's going to change right now. But the reality is, and fingers crossed, I mean, it's not going to be like that forever. And that's where what Anthony just said comes in, where it's kind of hearing that has been motivation for me to keep myself in shape.
Okay.
And it's hard. It's hard with that like mental aspect where sometimes you just don't want to. And you're just, for me, I'm very inspired by being around my colleagues. So like that's I think my biggest hurdle. But yeah, it's just been fascinating to remember like we are still relevant and our work does still matter, because one day the country will be completely reopened and knock on wood, we're you know gonna be back in that theater, and some of us will have stayed in shape and some of us will not have.
Yeah.
I agree. I think some of the challenge for me is I'm like Katie's husband, where I'm very much a planner and I like to have as many ducks in a row as possible. There you go. And so one of the things that I've been challenged with is trying to figure out, you know, is there really going to be a place for us when this all ends in terms of being a young artist on the cusp of starting a career, you know, leaving a young artist program? And if not, what does that mean? You know, what do we do? Can we make a plan for something else to do? Start, you know, thinking about other options, none of which are as good as singing, of course, but that's been a real challenge for me in my mental health, and just trying to figure out how to kind of balance all of those thoughts at the same time of what do we do, how do we do it, and how do we get there?
Right. Well, you know, we talked about this with the Adler Fellows yesterday, and because honestly, I've thought that way too. I'm a huge planner and I'm constantly thinking down the road and where do I want to be in 2 years, 6 months, a month, whatever it is. And I feel like at this time, you know, we've had enough time to kind of figure out, okay, we're going to be in this boat for a little while. So what does that mean for me? And am I waiting for my manager to call me? Am I waiting for that opera house to call me to do whatever? Well, maybe why am I waiting? Why aren't I just taking the bull by the horns and making something for myself to do? Or, hey, you know what? Maybe I want to go back to school. I'm going to see if they'll pay me to go back to school so it's not coming out of my pocket. Maybe I can learn a new skill. Maybe I can get a job where at least I'm filling my financial coffers, but I'm still practicing in the meantime, which is what I actually did when I changed from mezzo to soprano in the regular pre-COVID. Does that make sense? So maybe I think there are a lot of us that are thinking that, because a lot of us don't have savings past a year. Some of us don't have savings. Some of my singer friends didn't have savings past a month, you know, because some of them just renovated like their house, and then all of a sudden COVID hit and they're like, what in the world are we gonna do? So does that make sense? Like, I think that there's going to be a lot of singers trying to figure out how to, like I said, fill those coffers. So I'm all for being proactive and trying to figure out a way for us to do that. And we don't necessarily have to wait for these administrators or managers to tell us what to do. So I think all of us can have, and especially you guys, this wonderful young generation coming up, can start bouncing ideas off each other and planting seeds on what are we going to do when we're out of this program? How are we going to make this work? Does that make sense? So,
and that's one of the things that's interesting is that, you know, the administrators don't know what to do either. I mean, this is foreseen by anyone. So like, I've had a lot of conversations with administrators of different companies to about what things could look like moving forward, and how could an online presence shape the way we do opera 5 years from now, and how could, you know, live streaming or filming be something that can not just be archived but presented, or possible options for ways that we can make opera more accessible. I mean, there's thousands of ways that, you know, we've wanted to reshape the opera industry. And in the midst of all of this chaos, there are also, I think, a lot of really important conversations happening about what can we do when we come back, and how can we make a change for the better that we've been hoping for the opportunity for years and years.
Well, and that's something that we want to really talk about is, what do you guys want to see change? Because I know, we all know that opera had to change. Opera needed a bad change, and quickly. And you all are the future faces of opera. It's not Carrie and myself, you know, our time, we're over the hill. But you all can, no, but seriously, you know, we can make a small difference, but you all have to live with this. This is your chosen career, and your generation is going to make the difference and bring the change in this field, obviously.
And demand it, demand the change. Demand the change across the, sorry, Sandra, but demand the change across the board, because this is leveled all of us. We are all on the same playing field. And like you said, those administrators' ears are open, and I think donors' ears are open. And I think this is where all of this change can happen. And I said it the other day, I said, I want a rainbow. I need a rainbow of not only colors, I want a rainbow of sexes, I want a rainbow of sizes. We need to change this so that this makes a difference to the communities that we live in. And why not make that difference now? And your voices can actually be heard now in those administrative offices, because their doors are opening, wanting these new ideas. I believe that. I mean, I haven't been told differently. I don't know if anybody's had a door shut in their face.
No, it has been. And listen, I think they all want to hear from you, because I think their ears are open now, not just their doors, but their ears are open. And Carrie and I challenge all of you to go and talk to the executives of opera houses, to top people, the board, all of that, with your thoughts and ideas, because you are the people that are going to implement the change, as well as the opera houses, but you all are going to take part in that. You tell them how you see the future of opera and how you want it to be, and use your voice, not just your singing voice, you know, not just your blah, 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 your la, 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 but your blah, blah, blah. You know?
That was great. Yeah.
And that's what we wanted to tell you guys. And also to say, do you have any questions for us?
Well, what is your thought about what Atlanta Opera just started? Because it looks very similar to the German Fest system, and I know that system runs differently because there's a different demand for opera there, and it's also the way it's funded is very different. And I've been talking to administrators is great, but their model is based off of private donation. So I've been emailing senators and Congress people about the importance of the arts, but the idea of having like what ballet companies do with an opera company is something that I would maybe like to see, especially with people who want families and stability and that kind of thing. To have a system in the United States where we can call a house our own would be cool from my perspective anyway.
I think that that's where opera, at least in the United States, and we've talked about this a lot with a lot of people, not just in the US, but here in Canada as well. I think as long as this virus is around and people, especially Americans, can't travel, I think that regional opera, regional arts, regional dance, all of that carries in Nashville. I mean, all the music down in Nashville. She's lucky, she's around that. But contact your local opera house. And if they aren't interested, you guys start it up. You know, it doesn't take much money, especially now we've learned this, all this virtual world of opera. Is it the same in my opinion? Not exactly. But in the meantime, you can start the foundation of it. And then when we don't have to do everything virtually, then you can move it into some kind of building wherever, a barn. We heard about somebody doing something in a barn. I mean, it doesn't take much. It just takes us to open our minds. And Anthony, maybe that's something you can do. Start something local. There's plenty of artists that are dying, chomping at the bit to do things right now. Yeah. So, and there is public funding available in the States, at least right now, right? So start a corporation, call it La La La, or, you know, something, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, good for you. Any other questions? Sure. Okay.
Everybody's like, no, I don't want to get in trouble. I don't know. I mean, when we were young artists, we were kind of told to be seen and not heard. You know, don't rock the boat, don't whatever. And I feel like that's over. Those days, Sandra said it too, those days are over. In my opinion, I know that's easier for me to say because I've been doing this for a long time, but I keep hearing more and more voices about calling for change on so many different levels. And it's so exciting to me because it's needed it for so long. And that's why we're just here on here encouraging you guys to really do that, to make a difference. So, and also, you know what, I really feel passionate about this, that it's okay to walk away from this too. If you guys are looking, you know, like Matilda, you were talking about the future. I don't think it's a failure or wrong or anything like that to say, you know what, maybe I really want to make sure my finances are secure. Opera is not going to do that for me, so I need to go do this. And maybe that, you know, you never know. Like, I mean, I feel like opera singers and musicians, we're all gifted with so many different wonderful talents that go into what we do, that we can take some of those and move into different fields and do amazing work and amazing things there and have your voices heard as well, maybe not musically. So I don't want anybody to think that they have to stay in this. It's just emotionally, it's not a failure to walk away.
You're not a failure if you decide not to do it. And quite frankly, I've thought about not doing it anymore either. So
we both have.
It's real. It's from the very top to the very bottom and everything in between. People are all thinking, and it's a good time. You know what? It made me stop and think, and I'm sure all of you too. Do I really love doing this? Is it what I wanted to continue doing? And my answer came after 4 months, but it was yes. But there's nothing wrong in saying, you know what?
I wanted to tell you guys that what we have found, Sandra and I found in doing this insane thing that we've done online with Screaming Divas, was that the purpose of it was to connect to you guys, to connect to our friends, to connect to our colleagues, other people in other businesses, because they're dealing with the same thing. And I have found that connection is healing. That connection gets me up in the morning. That connection, I miss you guys. I miss my artists. I miss my extremely talented friends and people in this business. And so I encourage you to do that. So whenever you're in like the dumps or whatever it is, like reach out to any of us. And I really mean, Sandra and I truly mean that. Like, that's not you're not bothering us, you're not whatever. Like, really pick up the phone. We all want to communicate and talk with each other.
Especially if you need to laugh.
I'm all about that. I love that. That's my favorite part.
Carrie's the best at that. We try to do it every day. We try to make each other laugh every day. And I hope you guys do too. And bring some levity into your life as well, because these are seriously poopy days.
Like, anybody really is really wanting to ask a question but is a little afraid to, now's your time. Go ahead.
I just wanted to add, to kind of tack on to something you mentioned about the situation of resident or young artist programs right now is actually pretty fascinating. And as you said, that world is definitely changing, and particularly the seen not heard sort of thing. I think that's definitely still there. However, I would just credit the Ryan Center to, like, every step of the way through this process has just said, what do you need? How can we help? What can we change? And that has been just brilliant.
Yeah.
And at the same time, another thing that I think is changing or it has the potential to change in this pandemic is that so many of these companies, they can't put on a full production, and therefore they're relying on their studio artists this season for their content.
Yeah.
For their virtual content and for their social distanced recitals, like maybe outdoor. I've heard that from a series of things. And I'm personally, I'm kind of a young artist program veteran. I've been in, this is my third year round, discounting summers. And so it's just very exciting to hear about that sort of innovation that companies are doing with their studio artists.
Finally taking advantage of the homegrown art, and artists and the homegrown talent, which is, I'm sorry, if you have a young artist program, you should use the talent that you have. And I honestly believe that the Lyric has been very, very good with that, because I'm looking at you and how many productions have I been with all of you. And you can't say that about all the programs. So I really do applaud them for that. And that's how you learn too, right? Is by being on stage, by doing it, by actually going out there, not just study all the time, because you get to a certain point, but you have to take that next step in performing it. And I applaud them for doing that and for reaching out to all of you, and be honest with them. Tell them what you're thinking and feeling. And if you're not comfortable with something, tell them, because in my experience of all the years that I've been there, they listen with completely open ears. Yeah.
Lunga, are you with family down there? Are you with parents too? Like some of the other ones have had to be with parents, or how are you surviving down there? How are you doing?
Well, yeah, I'm just alone. It's a bit toughish, but it's a struggle that I face every day. Being alone and missing family and all that. I think I once met Denise some time, like 2 weeks ago, and she was like pouring her heart and saying that she's sad and all that. And I was like, the feeling is mutual. I guess for me to move in a different world, more especially during this different time, it makes things a bit hard for a person, and more especially myself, because I love being with people and all that, laughing, and yeah. So now times are different. Times are very different. I guess it's the career that we chose, and there's nothing that I can do about it.
Yeah.
I do have to actually talk on them, maybe on WhatsApp or video call sometimes, but the issue of time difference is the problem, because we're like 7 hours behind from home. So when I wake, they like falling asleep. When I'm on bed, so it's madness.
It is.
Yeah.
I sent out because I want to talk with friends over there that are 6, 7 hours, 8 hours, and so they each have everybody has 2 weeks. And so I sent out the emails and I'm like, we're having cocktail hour. This is what it is. Put it in the schedule. I know you don't have that much going on, so you make it happen. If you have to take a nap the day before or whatever, this is what we're doing. Like, I'm a tyrant. I'm like, y'all, we're going to figure this out, because I miss them and I need that connection. Or I might as well weigh 600 pounds and go on that show, like 600-pound life. So Sandra's going to kill me, but you know what I mean? Like, so I totally understand that, because we've been locked in this little teeny tiny apartment, and I need that communication. I thrive on it. I crave it. And so I have decided, like I said before, I'm going to do this and y'all are going to do it. And they have, which is really kind of awesome. So lay the law down with your friends and your family and be like, I don't care if you're tired, wake up. I need to talk to you.
You live life.
That actually makes me remember, or not remember, but realize that it's always been kind of a little difficult or maybe anxiety inducing to speak to people over Zoom, having formal meetings, meeting donors, meeting sponsors, even the administration here. And I'm thinking, I'm not too sure what the mood is, because I'm one of those where I feel the energy from the people that I'm around.
Sure. Body language too, yeah?
I'm sorry?
Body language, right?
Yeah, body language, micro expressions. I pick up on all of them, and they inform me what the mood is. And even with my friends, my close friends, you know, we always have our like summer and New Year's vacations, and it looks like we're not going to be able to do that. So we video chat and things, but it's just not the same.
It's not.
Without being in the same room and being able to hug them, to embrace them, and laugh and kiki it up. You know, it's just not the same.
But I think I'd rather have something than nothing. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I'd rather get on the phone and be like, all right, what are y'all wearing underneath the Zoom thing? You know, like what's happening?
Oh, you don't want to see mine today. Sylvie, you look like you were going to ask a question or say something.
I was just curious if you guys knew in hindsight that this time was going to happen, would you guys have done something different leading up to it in your time?
That's a great question, I think. Carrie, would you change anything? Would you have done something different?
I would have bought more toilet paper.
Me too.
Oh, no, and you see why I'm best friends with Carrie. You see, you all get it now, right?
I mean, seriously, like real world problems, people. But we got left with the like worst toilet paper on the world that hurt your booty after a while, and you're like, Lord mercy, like I'd rather just shower this off than deal with this horrible toilet.
Oh no!
I'm sorry, I'm just putting it out. This does not happen on air. Let's be people. So I would no, like, I mean, no, I mean, life is what it is, you know, like every day I just try to keep moving forward. So I might have like when we got into this apartment, I might have thought, well, maybe you need a 2-bedroom instead of just a 1-bedroom, because my husband is now home working and we're both, you know, talking so loudly during the day. But obviously I talk a lot too. It drives him nuts. But he's a good guy. But anyway, so I probably would have done that. But as far as like jobs or living my life, no. I mean, I just, you know, day to day and keep moving forward. So
I think for me, the biggest thing, as we were just saying before, is the people connections. And my mom lives in Geneva, but she's in hospital in Evanston. And I think if I had known, I would have brought her up here. Any other questions? I know we've kept you guys a long time, so.
I want to ask something.
Okay.
It's about my experience. I was living in Mexico City in a very small apartment, and I have a couple of troubles with my neighbors because I study a couple of hours, and I don't know, sometimes if I think in a little or small space, my voice is like a little scared. And if I think in a more bigger place, this helped a lot.
Ah, okay. That's interesting to know.
Yeah. And I don't know about the neighbors. One teacher said, Denise, just don't think about the neighbors. Don't worry about.
Yeah.
Well, it's true. I mean, we're in lockdown, and I mean, not so much now, but you know, Carrie really didn't sing so much because she didn't want to disturb the neighbors, but also it's your life and it's your job. So there's that balance between, hey guys, you know, you're going to get a free concert today.
Yeah.
You know, or
yeah. And I sorry for interrupt. It's a very, very wonderful idea to say it's like a new a free concert. Yeah. I think that here in USA, I didn't have many troubles with that, because this troubles was in Mexico City, and I speak with my neighbors, but they don't understand nothing and say, yeah, just please don't.
And so close there too, isn't it?
Yeah. In very small
times. What I would just say, listen, I have to do this. It's my job. Can I do it 30 minutes here, 30 minutes there, or whatever? And But you still, I don't know what the laws are in Mexico City, but like the laws here in Tennessee are, I'm allowed to make noise like that from 10 to 7, something like that. So
legally
you're allowed to. So I don't know what the laws are there, but or I don't know if you're allowed to do this, but sometimes, I mean, I have found churches here, and even the ones that are closed down, they'll still give me access to a room or something like that no one else is in. So I think that if you maybe start asking other people, hey, can I come here? Do you have this? Can I use that? That might make your living situation a little bit more positive.
That's a good idea, Carrie. Great.
Yeah, that one friend suggested me just that about one church very near the new apartment.
Yeah, I would ask.
Thank you so much.
Sure.
Anything else, guys? Anything?
I put like signs up on both of my doors with just like the basic information of like, here's my contact information. I need probably about an hour of singing a day. I don't do an hour of singing a day, but like hypothetically, if I were doing what I'm supposed to be doing, I would be. But I just put all that information on there. I'm employed at the Lyric Opera of Chicago. Like, this is my job. Like, I understand you're working from home too, because like, I have friends who are therapists who are working from home, and people have jobs that require sensitivity to sound. And all that. So honestly, I spoke to my landlord, and I never received any complaints. I did actually receive. I know that's not the case with everyone, but I did receive like one text asking me to turn my music down at one point. So I was like, okay, so like they got the message, so they feel free to contact me. And then I got a message at one point from a neighbor saying, I'm moving out. I'm a singer at DePaul. It's been such a joy to hear you sing every day. So while there are people who are going to be like difficult to deal with, or maybe are very sensitive to sound, there are also people who are supportive, and I struggled with that at the beginning too. I just thought, I cannot bear to make so much noise in my little apartment with like these thin walls. I just thought, I feel so bad for everyone else.
Right.
I think people have changed too. I think the whole world has changed. I think as much as people are more raw, I think people are more sympathetic too and understanding. And at least that's my experience. I think as long as you're trying to be caring and understanding and say, listen, guys, this is my job. We're all in the same boat. And that was really great what you did, Kathleen. Good for you.
We've had a similar
I just think it's funny. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Matilda.
Sorry, I was just going to say, we've had a similar situation where we moved in May. It's actually a condo association that we're renting through just an owner, which comes with its own sets of issues. But our neighbors have not been as accepting of loud noises as maybe I wish they would have been. But we were able to kind of negotiate hours in which I can sing freely, which has been really actually kind of helpful. So I get from 12 to 1 and 5 to 6 no matter what every day that I can sing and make noise. So
good schedule too, a good way for you to keep a schedule. And I mean, there are soundproofing things too that you can do. It costs money, but
Oh, you know what though? But I have, we did a video with 1026. There's session singers, and they do a lot of recordings. And actually, because a friend of mine was teaching voice and needed those kinds of noise canceling things, and I reached out to the recording people and said, what can he buy? And there's actually some really great, I remember it was like maybe $50 max, where you're buying these like waffle panels and he had a great idea. Those things that you can hang over the door with your shoe holders, things where you take the shoe stuff off and you just have the metal and you just glue it or push it through.
Oh, on the back of a door?
Yeah, on the back of the door. So then you can constantly remove it and put it in your closet if you don't want to see that up in your house all the time. So find those, or those commando strips that stick. You can stick them up on there and then pull them back down. And it was a great way for him to have a teacher studio so the rest of the house didn't hear it, but also be able to take it down and feel like he had a living space that didn't look like a studio. So
there you go. We all find ways. Sorry, Martin Luther, you were going to say something too?
Oh yeah, I was going to say I just think it's funny how some people have to deal with humans, whereas I have to deal with dogs. I live in a very dog-friendly neighborhood, and I even have a little furry companion myself. Although right now he's at the vet for an appointment. But I just noticed yesterday, singing high seas and whatnot, all the dogs just started barking. I'm like, okay, this is.
My old boy Sears dog used to do that. You hit a certain note, he would just go. Roo! I thought, okay, I either really suck or I'm doing good.
That's how you know you're doing it right.
My cat does that with opera.
All right.
Oh, sorry.
Anything else?
I was just saying
You too, Catherine. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying my cat does that too. It was funny.
Really? A cat?
Or you need to video that. Have you videoed that and put that on the internet?
I do have one recording of her meowing along to, I can't remember who it was singing. I was just listening to a recording and she meows along to it. And if she's not in the room when I'm singing, she like meows on the outside. It's really fun. It's really fun.
I love it.
Talk about the future of opera. Come on.
Yeah, there you go. She can be our mascot. Screaming Divas mascot.
Her name's Ophelia and she would love that, I'm sure.
Perfect. Well, we're going to let you guys go. Thanks so much. And as we said, any questions, anything you need from us, we're here for you. You know, if we can help at all, and just encourage you and keep you guys laughing and keep you inspired and motivated, then job well done for us. So.
And hope you get over here from Italia and from South Africa. Hope you all have safe travels and can get back to work with everybody soon. So.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Ciao, ciao.